Hello, hello. Are you having
Hi.
a very stressful day?
No.
So fabulous. Hello again for folks joining us out in the ether. What we're doing is Ramon and I run a sort of free programming boot camp, and Couchbase have been an absolute dear and given us the space and given us some resources to do some supplemental sessions, which I'm really excited about.
Yeah.
So what we've been doing is we've been doing projects from the Free Code Camp web responsive web design curriculum, and we've been doing them using real world tools. But today we're just gonna. So what happened with today's lesson? What they're like? What?
Yeah. So, I think it was last week. Oh no. No, week before last. Oh, I might be a little sleep deprived today. Sorry, everyone. So the week before last, we did in the free web development boot camp, we did the Picasso painting lesson. And by pure coincidence, on the exact same day, that lesson got replaced by free code camp with the one we're going to be doing today.
So these curricula, plural of curriculums, are living lessons. So they're designed by teachers, but they're also designed by volunteers. And
Amazing.
at some point, we could go onto GitHub and dig through why these might have been replaced.
Ooh.
But at some point they were like, "Oh, Picasso, not as relatable. Do you know what the internet loves is cats?"
Fair.
And I always make you drive when we pair program because I'm the meanest person I know.
Not true.
I thought it might be fun to have me drive. So we're just going to go through a big chunk of this free code camp curriculum. And so we're going to use CSS to draw a cat. Very chill.
Amazing. So this is a bit of a departure from drawing Picasso, but nevertheless super fun. So what we're going to be starting out with is writing up our HTML. Going to give it our doc
I think
type.
we're gonna, just build out the structure we've gotten very, very used to. And if you're just joining us for the first time, hello, my loves. And I'll put Ramon in the hot seat. I'll just type, and you have to drive. Wahaha.
Totally fine. But just one thing that I'm going to remind you of
Oh,
is you've got your doc type, but you don't have an HTML tag surrounding that with the language, which I forget every time.
I think you'll find. Oh, does the language go in the HTML tag?
It does.
I was like, I think you'll find. No, you're right. I think you'll find you're right. So we've got our
I forgot it this
HTML.
morning. It's not fair.
And we're gonna close our HTML. Technically, it'll work if you don't close your HTML element, but okay. So we've got our doc type. We've got our HTML element. The language is set to English. We do have a head and we do have a body. I think this is going to turn green and everything's
It
fine.
is fantastic. So we're just going to go through a bunch of these, get as far as we can. Super easy going, super fun until we let you all go for the day.
Yeah, it's going to be impossibly mellow. Nothing bad. Well, I mean, nothing bad's going to happen in this lesson. In the wider world, we're here a full hour. Bad stuff could happen. So our head, we're going to have a meta tag.
Yep.
And we're going to set the char set is equal to
quote marks UTF-8.
Yeah, and that's always capitalized, isn't it? No, the reverse.
Not necessarily, but I think it might not matter.
So HTML is by default not cap sensitive. Is there a way to say not cap sensitive?
Oh, case insensitive.
Case insensitive. And do you know what that goes in? So the meta goes inside our head, and so does the title. Case insensitive is the grown-up tech way to say that.
So we've got the car set, and we need to also have the title set to be the FCC cat painting. Exactly.
And we can go. Did I say painting? I did spell painting right. Fantastic. And because you've said cat more than twice, there's a non-zero chance of us getting cats crashing this. We've got a link to our CSS.
Cool. So we need a rel attribute set to have the value style sheet. And our ref, our destination, our address of our CSS file is going to be, and we've seen this full stop before. It's the folder we're currently in that contains the file styles.css.
And you went over this a lot in yesterday's stream, which was really useful.
Yeah.
I feel more than
Amazing.
moderately confident. Cool. So all these streams are free, but if you did ever want to donate to Free Code Camp, I know in the name it's free as well. But they are also a registered nonprofit. So if you've got $5 a month, they're a cool group of people to send it to, but there's no obligation. Oh, the
Oh,
universal selector. Is that
that's the asterisk.
oh
So what we're going
yeah.
to be doing here is resetting the box sizing of every single element in our data object model or DOM. That's all of the HTML.
Yeah, so we're setting a new rule and we say, hey, the conceptual rectangles our HTML elements are made of. We're going to set the box sizing to border box. Okay. This means that all elements will include padding and border
Yeah.
in your specif. Okay, cool. All fine. We're going to keep bopping along. Let's give our. What do you think this will do?
So we're going to give our body a background color of this color, and that's going to cover the entire page.
Is it?
It should. Now I'm unsure.
Oh, you're absolutely right. Oh.
Thank you,
Oh,
Aaron.
and
Amazing. So there's that passing. Now we're going to go back to our HTML file, create a main element. Got to close it
what's the
too.
difference between main and div?
So main is a semantic element. Like div, they're both conceptually rectangles, but main tells a little bit more to programs what they're doing. For
Okay, so
example, oh, sorry.
please. No, no, no.
So, sorry. For example, a main is going to tell a search engine or a reader mode, which is the main content of our website.
So they're both like structure elements, but main is just a little bit smarter.
Exactly.
Okay, everything's easy. And I'd be pretty surprised if we got through all of the. So we've got a main, a semantic element, and then inside that we've got a div, a less smart one. So we've just made that cat head class. We're going to use the class selector.
Cat head. We're going to give it a width of 205 pixels and a height of 180.
Oh, do you know, we should do this with both of us more often. Having this read aloud is very convenient. And the border
Yeah.
is 1 pixel.
And we've got there, it's a 1 pixel solid, which means it's going to be like just a line. And the color is going to be 3 zeros.
That's black, which is the default anyway.
And if you haven't seen this before, reason we don't have 6 colors, don't forget the semicolon at the end there, Jess.
Thank you. Oh, I love this. I love pair programming on
This is
iDrive.
the magic of pair programming, because like I'm like distracted and looking at these kinds of things. It's really handy. So the border radius is being set to 46%. So it's almost all 4 corners have a border radius of 46%. So it's not quite round. You can see it's just like a little bit
Squidgy.
yeah, oval thingy.
And the border radius is how much of a circle something is. So 50% is you've bent your conceptual rectangle into a complete circle. Oh, we stopped just shy of that.
Amazing. So now
Ooh.
we're going to give our oh, this is going to be fun. So we're going to give it a background. So that's not going to be a background color, Jess. This is going to be a background because we're going to use a linear element. Linear gradient, pardon me. Linear dash gradient.
Whoa.
So we're going to have
gosh, I
2
don't
colors.
remember the syntax for this at all.
Don't worry, I got it. I
Oh,
gotcha.
you've got it.
I did like 30 today of these linear gradients. So we're going to put each color and stretch a color, a value and a percentage. So first is the first color, which is 5E, 5E, 5E. And here's a rule of thumb in case you're like, what color is this? If all 3 of red, green, and blue are the same, you are more than likely going to get a shade of gray. See? Then we're going to specify space and the percentage of how far that color is going to take up of our gradient. With a comma, we're now going to put our
A
next pair.
comma, that's what I was looking for. It's like, how do we separate these two values? And here we've got 45, 45, 4, 5, 4, 5, 4, 4F, and that's at 100%.
Correct. So let's see, 45, 45, 40F. So it's a slightly, very, very slightly bluish gray because the blue is a little bit higher than the rest of the colors.
Just a little bit of a shadow at the cat's chin, huh? Sorry,
Indeed.
I've just noticed that it is extremely dark
Ooh.
in my programming cave. And now it is extremely light in my programming cave. This is really the drawback of a cave, isn't it?
Cool. We may not notice the difference between the color. I
I
can
see a
see it.
little
Yeah.
shadow. I think it may be the placebo effect for color, but CSS position. Okay, okay, okay.
Oh, here
So
we
talk
go.
through this because we've been using absolute a lot.
Yeah. We've also used fixed. So
Hmm.
by default, let me look this up. This is why we pair program, by the way. MDN. By default, every element in our HTML is going to have a default position assigned to it.
By default, it's relative though, right?
That's what I'm not sure about.
While you're looking that up, remember that absolute is saying, hey, exclude this element from the regular flow. This element is special. Don't apply sort of the layout, the standard layout rules to this element. Whereas sticky is keep this, when you scroll around on the page, keep this in the same location for the viewer. So if it's sticky at the top, always leave this element at the top, even when you scroll around. Fixed is kind of like sticking push pins into it. Say, hey, don't let this element move around. I like it just where it is. It's not fixed, so it'll still scroll away when you scroll the screen. But
Yep.
yeah.
Exactly. So by default,
Oh, do you know
every
what it literally says right here that static is?
I just found it here on MDN. This is why we pair program. So by default, everything's going to be static. We're going to explicitly tell our cat head to be static as well.
Okay, so we're just going to reset the default. Why
Yeah.
might we explicitly set a default?
So I suspect this is because of the cascading nature
Ooh.
of our style sheets or the C in our SS, the C nature of our SS. No, you know what? I'm not going to say that again. That came out confusing. So we're going to tell our cat head to be static. We're going to apply it to be
I could think of
100 pixels.
another reason. So
Oh,
100
go
from
for
the
it.
top. You might also want to explicitly set the default when you're working with other people. Hey, it passed.
Great
And you want
idea.
them to know, hey, this isn't static on accident. I intentionally, and you could do that with a comment as well,
Yep.
but this and a comment. So it does nothing. Ah, do you know what? It's
Mm,
because we wanted
you
to see the
pigs.
difference. We wanted the contrast. So we're going to set this to relative.
So now these top and left values are going to be applied by pushing it
I think as
100
soon as I
pixels.
push the E,
Yeah, there we go.
yeah.
So now it's
Okay.
applied it to be 100 pixels down and 100 pixels to the right. So
And
when
we
you look
notice
at,
when we move this around,
yep,
it is
it's
indeed.
it's relative to the main element. So this always trips me up a little bit because when you see top, left, bottom, or right, what helps me is like not to think of it's to the top, to the bottom, or so and so on and so forth. I like to think of it as from the.
Oh, that's what I always thinking about it as getting more personal space at the top or getting more personal space on the left. But from the is a very deft linguistic way to do that.
I mean, if you think about it, it's kind of the same as saying 100 pixels. Yeah, sorry, some personal space from the top, some personal space from the left. So the same principle applies.
So the next position we're going to try is absolute. And I'm going to copy this because I always mistype absolute.
It's a
So
hard word to spell.
it doesn't care which pixel value we use. It just wants to see. Oh, and I think
So
this means that as we move stuff around, it feels a lot like sticky with relative with the behavior. But
I'm sure
here,
we're going to see something different in a bit.
And correct me if I'm wrong, I'm wrong a lot. Relative is relative to the parent element, where
Correct.
absolute is what it is.
Exactly.
And here, it is what it is means on the page itself, on the document.
Exactly.
Fixed is a position property value that lets you make an element fixed to the this is the one with the thumbtacks.
Oh, I like that. Yeah, this is how we were making our nav bars stick to the top.
Here, I'm just gonna build a little structure. I'm just building a div with the class
Not
of
class, but
class.
clause.
And this is just a conceptual rectangle.
Don't forget to put the closing forward slash.
Right.
Amazing. There we go.
And here we're going to use our class selection. We've been doing this a lot. We know that's a full stop. It can't hurt us anymore.
Mhm.
So we're going to set the width to 200 pixels.
Great. There's a small typo. There's an extra Y there in width.
Oh, I think it should be spelled like that.
Then we've got height, which is going to be set to 600, and we're going to give it a background color of 3 zeros.
Which is weird because that's the default, isn't it? Is that not just black?
No, the background color is all transparent.
Oh, yeah, but I could use the keyword black.
You could. I suspect that we might be wanting to extract a variable. Maybe? Oh, I don't
Oh.
think we've done variables yet at this stage. For context, we're going back in time for the boot camp and redoing an old lesson.
Oh, well,
A
a
new
new old
old
lesson.
lesson. Yeah.
And oh gosh, so we're going to set the position.
Mm-hmm. I'll set that to be absolute.
Haha. And then
The top of 800 pixels. So remember that's 800 pixels from the top.
Oh,
And
which is actually pretty far down, isn't it?
yeah.
And the left.
So we're going to put it 650 pixels from the left.
Oh, and that's just disappeared because our viewport isn't
Mm-hmm.
really
Oh,
big
there
enough
it
to
is down
handle
there.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so way down here, we do indeed, as advertised, we have a conceptual rectangle. Everything is fine. We're just resizing things. Spot on.
Cool. So now we're gonna make it. We're gonna make the cat head fixed as opposed to relative. So let's see what happens. It hasn't. Huh.
Oh, so I am scrolling, but it
Look
is
at
now
that.
fixed.
Can you do me a favor, Jess? Scroll down and also scroll to the right. Ah.
Hey.
So now that it's fixed, it's not gonna move anymore.
Okay, this is I quite like this as a little sort
Quite
of
chill.
illustration of how this works. We're going to check our code. Everything continues to be fine. So our last is sticky. I like
Alright.
sticky.
So sticky is a hybrid or a mixture of relative and fixed. It's going to allow an element to stick to a specific position within its containing element or viewport based on the scroll position. Interesting.
So the
We're going to
top
set the
is
top to
now
0
0.
and we'll remove the left. And just to be 100% precise, Jess, we don't want to make that 0 pixels, but 0.
Oh, 0. Oh, heck, you're absolute. Even though the default is pixels, isn't it?
Just want to make sure that we agree
Right.
with Free Code Camp on what they want.
So check our code. Everything's fine.
Amazing.
Okay, let's. Oh, our position needs to be set to absolute. Does that?
So we're going to switch that sticky to be absolute now. We're going to set top, right, left, and bottom to all be 0.
Okay, it
And
seems weird to set these all separately, but I respect this.
I don't know if there's a shorthand for that. Let's find out.
Well, I would think margin. Oh, yes, it's because
Well, margin is different from positioning.
position. Yeah.
So now we're going to set all 4 margins using the one value shorthand to be auto.
And
that's
if I
going to
wanted,
place it.
I could say auto, and it would do the same thing. But
yes. There you go. So no matter
And-
how we resize our viewport now, it's always going to be in the center.
is it? It is. We can see that box appear in the center, but not sticky, not fixed.
Yep.
So it's always in the center, but we could scroll away. We can get away from that floating cat head if we need to. Now, reset all of this.
Amazing.
Everything's fine. Remove the div element with, I don't
No
need
more
it.
box?
Oh, it was just to see
Yeah.
how this scrolls around.
Great.
Yeah. Oh,
We're going to delete. Oh, I love deleting code. It's one of the most
it's the
satisfying.
most exciting, isn't it? You think,
Yeah.
oh
It
no, but
feels really good.
isn't it writing code? No, deleting code.
It just feels
So
incredible.
I conceptually disagree with this, but inside our cat head, we're going to create cat ears inside.
Oh, I had a lot of that today with the penguin. So we're going to create one div element with the class cat-ears. Naomi says deleting code is the greatest. I agree.
Okay, so I'm going to create 2 more divs.
Yeah. So this one's going to be called cat left ear, and we're going to have a second one, and we're going to call that one, give that class the name cat right ear.
That tracks.
Fantastic.
And we'll try and get about halfway done just so folks get to play on their own. And this is for folks who are doing the boot camp. If you've already done the Picasso painting, don't worry about it. There's no reason to do both of them unless you're just really, really keen to paint with CSS. Oh, I don't like this. I don't like this at all.
Mhm.
I
So
don't.
what do you not like? I'm curious.
Oh, I don't like create a cat inner ear. Blah.
Gotcha. So
Gross.
we're going to make a new div with inside our cat left ear called cat left inner ear.
I am almost sure that they're also going to ask for a cat right inner ear. So I'm gonna. My div element should have.
Cat.
Okay,
left
look.
Oh. Ooh.
Typos can't hurt us. So inside our cat's ear, that's technically correct. I still don't like it. We're going to create the inner ear.
Don't forget to make it the right inner ear as
Oh,
opposed to the
yes.
left inner ear. Amazing. There we go.
Everything is fine. Okay.
Ooh. So now we're going to use CSS properties to make it look like these are pointy ears. It's going to be exciting. So we will give them a border left and a border right of these two of this value twice. So 35 pixels. So the border is going to be 35 pixels thick. Don't forget to remove the space between the 35 and the px. Sorry, I don't want to.
No, you're perfect.
We're going to make them transparent, which is interesting. But we're going to find out why in just a moment. If you've done the skyline exercise, we'll recognize why. So we're going to give it a right border of this that looks the same. And then we're going to set the bottom border to be border dash bottom to be 70 pixels wide.
That's
solid.
I see.
Yeah. We're going to make it solid and we're going to make it a familiar shade of gray.
5E, 5E, 5E.
So there you go. It kind of looks like it's a little bit like it's got a little bit of an ear-like thing going on. But what's going on is you can see that the border is being applied, the bottom border. But when we have both a left and a right border, they're actually meeting at at an angle. So when we set the left or right border to be transparent, it kind of looks like they're pointy.
Yeah. Here we put the position as absolute.
Oh, interesting.
That's top. So I think we're going to move it. So if we, this especially sucks because it's negative 26 pixels from the top. So it is going to move up.
It is going to move in a negative direction from the top, which means towards the top.
No, I don't like that at all. I disagree with this on
a fundamental level.
Aesthetic, right? Just no, thank you. And I think So if we're moving it negative 30 pixels from the left, it means we're moving it left.
Correct.
Unacceptable.
What this allows us to do is have stuff outside of the realm of our parent element.
Okay, that makes sense, but I still don't like it.
That's entirely fair.
Oh,
So,
so
we're gonna,
please.
yeah. So the edges are looking a little bit too sharp. So what we're gonna do is set the border top left radius to be 90 pixels. Oh,
Okay.
then
So
yeah,
we haven't seen this before, but this is sort of a combination of keywords we've seen a lot.
yeah. So we're instead of setting the border radius for all four radii, I give up.
Rada radices.
Radiuses. Um, what we're doing instead is uh, applying very specific border radiuses to the top left and to the top right. Radium, radii. See, I love that folks are have different questions. We got radium, radia. Naomi says radii. My heart wants to say radii, but it doesn't feel right.
Oh gosh darn it. Hang on. Plural of
Radios. Radios is cool.
Oh no. I mean, this is not surprising, but we knew that Naomi was going to be right. It's radii.
So with two eyes.
Yeah, again, which is technically correct, but I disagree with. So we're gonna check our. This is fine. I bet we're gonna do the exact
Fantastic.
same thing to the. Oh, we're gonna use transform.
Ooh. So we've been using transform today as well with the penguin. What we're doing is going to use different functions to transform how our element looks. So what we're going to do this time is use a function called rotate. And that takes one property, which is how many degrees we're going to rotate it by.
Oh, dang. Okay, that makes significantly more sense. I was just like, what? Cool.
So a positive value is going to go clockwise. I realize I have no idea if I'm mirrored or not. And if if it's negative, it's going to go counterclockwise. So in the opposite direction that a clock would go.
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
that's very fair.
And the thing is, all of y'all are being well patient because I am absolutely, I think, supernaturally jet lagged.
Oh,
So, oh, I love it.
cool. So
Oh,
we're now going to work on our right ear. So first we need a selector.
oh, heck, heck, heck.
You're fine.
For the other one, it gave it to us. So I thought, oh, and it's a
I
class
think we might
selector.
have written it before. So cat right ear.
Border
So we're going to
right.
do the right and the left one, and then the bottom one as well.
And then border bottom. Fabulous. So 35 pixels, even though by default it's pixel. Oh, this is exactly what we just did.
Exactly. We're gonna, and in fact, we should. I'm so sorry.
Why would you be sorry?
Sorry.
Everything is easy.
So we're gonna be doing the same thing of making a little pointy triangle with using our borders.
And then we've got
50.
5E,
Yeah.
5E, 5E. Okay, so this is exactly what we've just done. We can just bop through this. It'll be fine.
We're gonna do the same thing with positions. We're gonna do strange things and move it up, or move it 26 pixels into the top.
Oh no, that's very good. That's a good way to describe it.
And we're gonna move it 163 pixels from the left.
Okay. Which is wild because it's possible to have a double negative in CSS.
Two negatives make a positive.
you're not going to be surprised that I conceptually disagree with that as well. I
Fair.
understand that is extremely true on a sort of middle school level, but
Yeah.
so we're gonna rotate this 45 degrees, and this is my favorite and least favorite thing about free code camp is it'll say, "Oh, do that thing again." So it gives you less and less information each time.
It's cool. It makes me forget and then go into the documentation because I never remember this stuff.
Oh, I'm just gonna copy what I did up here.
Oh, that's a good idea too. So we're gonna rotate it, but not 45 degrees counterclockwise like we did with the left ear. We're gonna rotate it 45 degrees clockwise
Why does this one have a little bite taken out of it? Is that
because we've set the border radii of
Oh,
the
and we haven't
left
done
and the
that
right.
yet.
Yeah, I would bet
A
if two negatives make a positive, why don't two wrongs make a right?
Oftentimes they do. What?
Amazing.
Border top left radius.
Yep.
Do you know what the only thing I'm going to keep in my head from today's session is that radii is the in my day job, I work with a large corpus, a large library of data.
Hmm.
And I steadfastly refuse to use the correct plural of corpus, which is corpora. But no, my goofy brain is like, no, 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 it can't be that. It can't. So I just say corpora, which is consistently wrong. And I think if you're going to be wrong, just to be very relaxed about it makes your life as easy as possible.
And Naomi says the steps in these challenges get intentionally more vague, but the hints, the text that display if a text fails, will always be descriptive. And this is absolutely true and super helpful.
And Naomi's on the Free Code Camp team. So if it sounded like we were picking on you to say, oh, we love and hate this, it's very, very good educational design.
It's
I'm just very
amazing.
lazy. All right, I'm going to do this while you re explain what a Z index is.
Amazing. So we were doing this as well with the penguin challenge, if y'all remember. But if you haven't watched that, the Z index is allowing us to say how far in front relative to siblings or other HTML elements something is. What's going on is that, for example, if we have two divs that are positioned absolute after each other, the lower down that you declare them, the further in front they are. Does that make
So
sense?
that means if my code in my HTML code, I say div class one, div class two, if I don't set the Z index, it'll
Yeah,
give me the first one and then put the second one on top.
that's correct. What the Z index lets us do is intentionally say like, no, no, this is what I would like these positions to be relative to each other. The
I love how
through
European you got with that. Be like the Z and oh.
it's a habit. So what this means is that it's going to it gives us control to declare how far how far in front relative to the other elements an element is. The rule of thumb is the higher the number, the further in front.
Yeah. So
Think of it as
the
layers in.
highest number. Oh, you were sorry.
No, I was just gonna say, like, I like to think of it as layers in some kind of like photo editing app, if
Yeah,
you're familiar with those.
that's not bad. So what we're gonna do is we say, do you know what? The ear behind the head would make sense if we're looking at the back of the cat's head, but we're
Oh,
not. So here we're gonna set the Z index to one. We're gonna move it from the back layer to actually the
yeah.
front layer.
And
Okay.
the difference is very subtle, but the outline, the border of the head on the left ear is gone. Do you want to try it again?
I
Put the
mean,
minus
oh
back.
yeah.
Check it out. So you see on the left ear, you can still see the border of the head. So once we make it one, now the ear's on top.
Oh,
Oh,
and
that's great.
really, we kind of need a stronger border on this to be able to see it on stream. But if we take that away, that little tiny line goes away. And we're going to check our code and everything's fine.
Amazing.
Cool. So we're also going to do the right ear. So it makes sense that the ears would be on the same layer.
Yeah. You're going to set the Z index of that to be 1.
Okay, so they're on the same layer. That doesn't feel like it changed much, but we feel confident. We trust the system. Again, if you've got $5 a month, that's is that a depending on where you're based, that's either an immensely fancy coffee or not quite enough for a very fancy coffee. But if you don't have that money, don't donate. Don't give away money you ain't got. So, using the class line, I'm going to copy and paste this just because
Ooh.
I am immensely energy efficient.
So what we're doing here is we're going to be coloring in the inner ears, which is a little pink triangle.
Yes.
So we're going to do the same solid transparent triangle left and right borders. And then our bottom border, you're going to see is 40 pixels in solid, but has a new color.
Oh, so this is kind of the exact same thing we did for the ears. Oh, and
Yeah.
this is the pink. So we're not actually talking about going inside the ear,
Oh,
which
no,
I
no, no.
we're like, mm-mm. Do you know what? That's a very specific concern, and probably. Oh, that got weird
It's also super
fast.
fair.
Love it. I'm going to copy and paste because the left and right are the same.
So now we need our bottom border, which is going to be 40 pixels solid. And let's see, 3B, which is same red and green, but a higher value of blue. So it's
Okay.
probably going to give it like a, so it's not pink, but it's actually like a very darker bluish gray.
Okay.
Control C.
Do you know what I'm going to do? Is
What's
I'm going
that?
to take all of this because I bet you a whole dollar.
Nice.
Dang it.
But that's okay. We can come back and copy it later. So, absolute, the second O needs to be a U.
I knew that. Oh,
Great.
hello. And we've got a cat joining us. Hello,
Oh.
little Missy.
Sweetheart.
She is going to. Thank you, Missy. Just trying to throw her behind me so that she can't unplug anything. The position absolute, fabulous. And now we've got a top.
So top is going to be 22 pixels. So it's going to be moved 22 pixels down from the top, but then it's going to be moved left 20 pixels into the left.
Okay, so that. Hello, Missy. What a good baby.
Oh. So there we go. We've moved it there. So it's kind of like centered all of there. Oh, and we're going to do the pointy edges. So we're going to do the bottom right. Oh, I can't remember how the property goes.
Was it border? Wait. We could steal from ourselves. Border.
Amazing.
So we can actually.
Oh, but these are bottom right and bottom left. So it's going to be slightly different, but we can still do it.
Oh, so these are borders as well.
Yes, but these are top left and top right. We now want bottom left and bottom right.
Fantastic. Missy, I have to type. So, I've copied and pasted, but we want bottom.
So the bottom. Oh, we're doing all four.
Are we?
Yeah. So the bottom right.
All...
Yeah. So the bottom right and bottom left are going to be 40% each.
And then we'll do the top. Okay, so we do need top left and top right.
We do, yeah.
Okay,
so
Missy, I'm going to put you down. Thank you, Missy.
Oh.
Thank you, Miss Baby. Okay.
So those are both going to be 40%.
Sorry, I'm just having a very professional time up here. The top is going to be 90 pixels. I think this works.
Hold on.
This makes sense.
Oh, yeah. There we go. Nice. Amazing.
Everything's fine. Absolutely not. No, I refuse.
Now begins the great copy pasting. And that's fine. We know that we're repeating a couple things, but some of the things will not be quite the same because we want to change that class to be right inner ear as opposed to left. And there's probably going to be some messing around with. Oh,
Ah,
actually. We still need to write it.
do we? Do we? I feel like we can copy and paste this a lot. And you know what? I feel like we can copy and paste this. And when it doesn't work, we can rely on the error messages to tell.
Amazing. Copy paste again. We're
So
being a
get rid of
little
this.
lazy. It's totally fine.
It's Friday somewhere. It is absolutely not Friday somewhere.
Sadly, there's no chance it's a Friday yet.
Oh, look at that. So not only have we learned that theft is great, but that stealing from yourself is probably the best way to go.
Oh, that's
Stealing from
very
your
well
past
put.
self. So we're gonna make some more divs.
So this is going to be. We're going to have one div with the class cat eyes.
Hmm.
And inside here, we're going to have 2 divs.
And one thing that Naya does really well that I'm always jealous of them doing is that they're always very, very clear to say, hey, 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 I'm copying and pasting.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm rubbish at that. So just assume I am always copying and pasting.
So we've got our outer div now made up with the class cat eyes, and we're going to have 2 inside called cat left eye and cat right eye.
And if we want to, I love that we can format the document. And
Oh,
I
hold on.
wouldn't necessarily
We
format
need
it
to
like this.
close our divs.
Oh, do
So,
we? Oh,
yeah,
heck, heck,
line
heck.
23, 25, and 20. No, Jess, sorry. Lines 23, 25, and 26 need the forward slash. There you go.
I was like, ha ha ha, the system doesn't work. And really, what doesn't work is me. When we close those appropriately, everything
Amazing. Nice one.
works.
Cool. We got our green stripe. We can keep moving. Now come more inners. So we're going to do a cat left inner eye, and I'll bet we're going to do a cat right inner eye. Naomi says, I'm working on unit tests today and literally copy pasted tests into each file. Yeah, same.
Yeah,
All the
it
time.
is super chill and normal.
Mm.
Generally speaking, if you find stuff on the internet, you both don't necessarily want to paste it, but you definitely don't want to paste it into your terminal.
No, for sure. Or your JavaScript console.
So, cat left inner eye. And do you know what? Do you know what?
That looks good.
I bet I can steal all of this from my
Oh,
past self.
let's find out. Yeah. So we're
Oh,
going to have to do the same now and replace left with right. Oh, and Naomi
fun.
says, or your Discord console. I did not know Discord had a console.
But you don't want to copy and paste. Yeah, so we can copy and paste from our past selves, but we don't want to. And the thing is, till we start feeling really confident about, hey, I understand this is a risk.
Exactly.
We want to go easy on it for a while. So we're going to use our class selector and cat.
Uh-huh.
And very excitingly, I think we're going to go for about 10 more minutes and then
Fantastic.
all take naps. We saw my gray cat come to make an appearance, and that is because she is extremely aware that it is dinner time for small bellies. I'm going to set the
Great.
background color
Uh-huh.
to black. Yeah.
Yep.
But we're going to set it using the 3 hex code. And that's RGB. So 0 red, 0 green, 0 blue is black. Say,
Exactly.
why? I don't know. Stop. I
It's
mean,
the
I do know.
I was
But
about to say it's the absence of color, but that doesn't make sense either.
we're going to go to our next challenge. All right. These feel kind of familiar. Oh, heck, heck, heck.
Oh,
It's okay. We can reset our code. And this says, no, are you sure? I'm sure.
whew.
Hmm. Position's absolute. Okay.
Perfect. We're
The
going to move it
top from the top
from the top.
and
And
from the left.
exactly. So there we go. We got a big rectangle eye there.
Little intense, but it passes.
And I bet here come the border radii. Or one border radius, pardon me. We're gonna,
I mean, we're probably going to do two.
maybe. So border radius of 60%. So it's going to be almost fully round.
Oh,
No,
so
it's got a little
if
oval
it was
thing.
40%, I bet it would be an oval in the other direction.
Let's give it a try.
Oh, that's not
It's
what I thought it would do at all.
loses a little bit of its roundness. So essentially, the bigger the radius, the rounder it is. What happens if you put it at a yeah? So now it's a
So
perfect.
50% is a circle,
Mm,
is it? Oh, I guess not. I think 50% and 60% look the same.
they do look almost the same, but 50% means that it's like as round as it'll get. But because it's a rectangle, it's never going to be a circle.
Oh, that makes it. Oh, we've also got to rotate it. Okay, use
Mhm.
the transform property.
The transform property with the rotate function, and that takes one parameter of 25 degrees. Oh, interesting.
All right. Weird, but it passes. And
Nice.
we are coming up on about halfway done. Let's just do a little tiny bit more.
Sounds good. Shall we do the second eye?
Yeah, let's just like I feel a little stressed out having that cat have one eye.
I am
So
all for it. So,
width
with
of 30 pixels.
mhm.
And we're still not seeing anything. Why is that?
It's a pirate cat. It's okay.
I think
So
a
we don't.
pirate cat would be. Why don't it's okay, I have both a width and height. It has a size. Why don't I see anything?
It's because it doesn't have content, and the
Oh,
background is transparent. So we're gonna make it
there we go.
not transparent now.
You like the way when you navigate, I ask you like, challenging questions.
This is great.
And when you have me
Nice.
navigate, you just bop along in the nicest possible way.
You're amazing. So we're now gonna have our position be absolute. We're gonna move it 50 pixels from the top, 54 pixels, pardon me,
Everything's easy. And then we
and
move
the
it from
left.
the left.
Exactly.
Again, a
So
little intense. Let's squish and transform.
I
Let's
bet that's what
set
we're
our
gonna do
border
next.
radius is much more professional than squish. There we go.
There we go. Yeah. Border dash radius of 60%. And notice now it's negative the degrees because we're now going to rotate it counterclockwise.
Okay, that tracks. And this transform is a function.
The
What's a
transform is
function?
mm, uh, okay. So the transform is the property, and the value of that property is a function. And what a function is a piece of pre-written code, or like think of it as like something that we execute a lot of times. Instead of writing out a bunch of code to do it, we're just like, hey, here's a nickname of a place, like a label you can jump to go run this code real quick. And by the way, run it with this value.
Okay. So it's like a little tiny dance or a little tiny process
Yes,
that your computer knows how to do. So in stuff like JavaScript, you can write your own functions, but say, hey, this is a little tiny action that we'll do again and again. So this might be like setting choreography rules. So, here we're going to do a jazz hand, and here we're going to do a little bow. So these are just little actions that are either built into CSS or that you set yourself in programming languages like JavaScript.
exactly.
Oh, I think now that our cat has two eyes, unless we've got any very pressing questions outside of what is the plural of radius, I think we might just take a look at how far we've gotten and have a very relaxing. Oh, what's the homework for people?
Oh, Well, aside from going and having the most easy time possible, being kind to oneself, and relaxing and taking naps if applicable, it's going to be. Oh, Naomi says we should submit and go to the next challenge if we
Okay.
have. Thank you, Naomi.
Why?
Amazing.
What is the next challenge?
Oh, yeah, no, no, we
Uh,
saved our
oh,
progress.
we've saved our progress. I thought Naomi was
Yes.
like, no, 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 no. You don't get to feed those cats. Go, go, go. It's fine.
So, uh, right, we've got our homework is to take it easy, but also when on your own time, remember this is all self-paced, is going to be to do the rest of these exercises.
I'd say if you've already done the Picasso, I'm going to disagree with you.
Oh,
If you've
please.
already done the Picasso one and you don't want to do the cat one,
Oh, yeah,
nobody's going to make you.
totally.
Technically, do you know how much? Do you know you can just do the projects and only the projects and passing it your certification? Naomi, back me up. That's true, right? But if you can, like if you already know HTML, and if you already know HTML and CSS, it's kind of weird to get the certificate. No, it's not. You know what? It's not.
I've got the JavaScript certification. I knew JavaScript. It's good
Oh, yeah.
practice.
It's a good way to show off as well. Who doesn't like a certification? Hey, Naomi says that's correct. So if you just want to like not do any of the lessons, you just
Amazing.
got to do the 5 projects and claim your certification.
And you can
Oh,
do this
right.
at your own pace. This boot camp, we do these things, these parts live with you so that you can, ask questions and collaborate live, but you can go and do the certification at your own pace, at your own time,
Oh, yeah, like
your own leisure.
extremely not the boss of y'all. But I am the
Yeah,
boss of you. So, your homework as well is to be as gentle to yourself as possible. And to that end, I will say
likewise.
goodbye to everybody live and everybody who will see us in the future. Goodbye, my loves.
See ya.